welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where yesterday some of you thought I got off a bit lightly with a sub 20-minute video. What a wonderful puzzle, by the way, by Bastian. But today I'm assured this one is harder. This is called Handshake and it's by Nevario. Now, Nevario's puzzles are always wonderful, and this is just a normal arrow Sudoku. But it's been recommended to us many times, including by none other than Totally Normal Cat, who wrote me a sort of enigmatic message on Discord saying that he challenged Nevario to make this puzzle without using a particular type of logic. Now, unfortunately, Totally Normal Cat did not tell me what the type of logic is that this puzzle doesn't involve. So it's going to be intriguing to work as well to see if, when we're solving it, if we can work out what that logic is, and indeed to see whether we can solve it at all. But we shall get to that in just a moment or two. Let me start today with the Mod Lines pack. Yes, this we've got two of these packs, in fact, available right now over on Patreon. One of them is free, introduces the concept, some basic puzzles in that pack, one each, I think, if I remember rightly, by the 6 authors of these Modular Lines puzzles. Modular Lines, by the way, is a new type of Sudoku constraint in which a line in the grid has to, each consecutive 3-cell sequence on the line has to contain each of the sort of remainders when a number is divisible by 3. So one of them has to be a 1, 4 or 7, the next one has to be a 2, 5 or 8, the next one has to be a 3, 6 or 9, although the orders could be different. So that's how Modular Lines work, and we've been getting loads of correct entries in for the big pack, which is many, I think I want to say 18 puzzles large. It's available right now. Loads have been working through it, so very well done. Nicholas Ole, you were the first entry in, very fast solving, brilliant work. Jonathan J. Charsh, Alaric Taki Arancha, Leon Zhang, Kapateki, Matthew Brockwell, there's quite a few familiar names here, Frank Levinson, Brett Gator, Fabian Volman, John Rice, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andrea Pachera, Lady Ruatha and Olimar. Now that we've had lots more entries in, so I'm going to continue the lists tomorrow, but those were the first entries we've received, so brilliant work, all of you. Other news, I'm thinking of doing a stream on a game called Typo Man. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments. I had a look at the video thing on Steam, and it looks really, it does look really good. It's sort of a platform game that involves anagrams, believe it or not. So I thought it might be interesting. So yeah, let me know if you want to see that, and I'll try and schedule something. We've got more birthdays to announce today, quite a few actually. Draug Meme is your birthday today, I think. Your friend Tenko told us this, so happy birthday, my friend. Libby and Armil, I think it is, your friend Rishi got in touch, and I think you've both turned 20 very recently, so happy birthday. I hope you've had lots of cake. Marcel, your fiancée Megan got in touch, and I think today is your birthday. And Megan's message was basically, don't worry, you will be getting a lot of cake today. So fabulous for you anyway. Patrick, you're turning 21. Well, tomorrow in terms of UK time, but I think when this video goes live, it will be tomorrow in Australia, which is where you live. So your best friend Leah has told me that today would be the better day to wish you a happy birthday. So I hope you have a great birthday tomorrow today. You know what I mean. And then I had a lovely email about Tamas. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's a Hungarian name from your great friend Nandor. And you're turning 31 today, and I think Nandor turns 31 tomorrow. And it appears that you've basically done everything in life together because your birthdays are so similar. So I think you're both PhDs, and you did your vivas on consecutive days. When you both dated your girlfriends, you went out for a sort of foursome date of the first date. It sounds remarkable. Anyway, Nandor said that you are an amazing solver, Tamas. So that sounds exactly the sort of person who should be watching Cracking the Cryptic. And I hope that you have a brilliant day tomorrow. And Nandor, I hope your birthday. I've got confused. Tamas, your birthday is today. I hope you have a brilliant birthday then. And Nandor, your birthday is tomorrow. I hope your birthday goes swimmingly as well. Now, all that said and done, let us get on with Handshake by Naverio, and I'll read you the very simple rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in that arrow's circle, and that is it. So basically, let's try and find an arrow. Those two cells there, imagine these were 3 and 5. 3 and 5 add up to 8, so we would write 8 in the circle. And then this is a 1-cell arrow, so that would be an 8 there. In fact, you can see if this was true, you could basically start filling in the puzzle because everything would get a bit forced. But I doubt it will be. We shall see. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I'm intrigued to work out, or to see whether we're going to be able to work out what the logic or what the technique is that Naverio has not used in this puzzle. What I can see straight away is that there are very few long arrows in here. There are no long arrows. So normally when we get a 3-cell arrow, we can immediately write into the circle 6, 7, 8s and 9s, because a 3-cell arrow, if it has to contain different digits, would need to contain a minimum of 1, 2 and 3, which add up to 6. Here, I'm not seeing anything like that. I'm seeing lots of short stubby arrows and quite a few 2-cell arrows. Ooh, okay, this is going to be hard. Okay, that's what I'm concluding from this. So where shall we start? Probably we need to start by, I don't know, observing things like those 2 cells are the same digit, so that digit's got to go in one of those 3 cells there. Yeah, and it can go in the circle. Those 2 cells are the same digit, so they've got to go in one of those 3 cells by Sudoku. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's all sorts going on here. Those 2 cells are the same digit. Okay. Here's a small point. So yes, by Sudoku, these orange and blue digits all get shunted into 2 of these 3 cells, but we can actually do better than this, because look at this little cell here. If this little cell, let's just focus on one colour for the moment, because I think that's going to be simpler. If this cell was blue, this short little arrow here would be telling us that this cell also needed to be blue, and that would make blue repeat in box 4, which will break the puzzle. So in fact, this cannot be blue, and the same logic is completely the same for orange. If this was orange, orange would get reflected here, and we get 2 oranges in box 4. So in fact, those 2 cells are a blue-orange pair, which means that is blue or orange. Yeah, and this is... Okay, so what is this then? And the reason I was hesitating for a moment was I was wondering whether this could be one of the existing colours, but of course it can't. Because whatever this cell is, it goes here, but it already sees blue and orange in its column and yellow in its column, so it is genuinely a 4th colour. So... That reminds me, actually, I think Totally Normal Cat also recommended a puzzle to me called the 4-colour theorem or something. Now, what does that mean? So that means green is in one of those cells, I suppose. So green adds up to orange. Well, green adds up to orange. Then orange... So it's possible. I'm just trying to work out how the arrows flow up the grid here. So because I can see that green has to be the sum of at least 2 digits here. So green is at least 3, and that transposes onto the arrow in box 1. But also, green is involved in the sum that creates orange. So if green is at least 3, orange is at least 4, but we don't know whether orange is... So if orange was on the arrow, blue would be at least 7. But if orange was... right. This is very cool. This is very interesting. Okay, let me try and explain what I've just noticed here. So the way to see this is to imagine that we know the order of the blue-orange domino. Imagine we put orange at the top of this domino. We're going to find a problem here. And that's because of the nature of the arrow down here. So let's think about how this would work now. You can see that the mathematics of this arrow in box 7 would be identical to the mathematics of the arrow in box 3, or box 1, column 3. i.e. we would be adding a green digit to something to arrive at an orange digit. Here we'd be adding a green digit to something to arrive at an orange digit, but the something is blue. And the something cannot be blue down here because blue already appears in box 7. So this is wrong. And that means this arrow is the other way round. And this is huge, I think. Well, no, actually it's huge for that reason as well. That now becomes blue. But let's come back to my thinking about 3s and 1s and 2s now. Because now I know orange is at least 4, because one of the cells on its arrow is green, which is at least 3. So orange is at... Oh, hang on, I want to put 4 in there, which means that's at least 4, which means blue is at least 7. So blue is at least 7. And let me just think, can we do better than this? Is it possible that there is a 1 on this arrow? So can it be green plus 1? Oh, maybe it can actually. Okay, so sorry, I was wondering whether we could restrict that further, but I'm not sure that we can. So we know that. We know that orange is always greater than green. Yeah, okay, but this is massively restricted. It's massively restricted. Because how big can green be? That's the question we should ask, I think. Because if green was 5, the puzzle's broken. Because if green was 5, we know that orange is at least 6, and therefore though 5 plus 6 is 11, and that won't work. So green, which is a minimum of 3, can be 4, but it can't be any more than that. So that's a 3 or a 4. 3 or a 4, and then okay, now here's a cute thing. What is the value of orange? And I don't know the value of orange, but I have noticed one thing about the value of orange. So you can see that we can't make orange too dramatically large, or we're going to break this digit. So on the face of it, orange is capped out at 6. But how could orange be 6? If orange is 6, then green can't be 4, because 4 plus 6 is 10. So green has to be 3, and that would make that arrow 3 plus 3 equals 6, which doesn't work. So orange is 4 or 5. It's got to be greater. It's got to be greater than green, but it cannot be too much greater than green. Right, so this is lovely, isn't it? And it's weird. It's it is unusual. I can see why people have been saying that this puzzle is unusual, because it is. So now these digits are from 1, 2, 3 and 4. Because we're always adding to 3 or 4 a relatively small number to add up to get to 4 or 5. So this is a green digit plus a 1 or a 2. Oh yes, yeah, and look here. What are these digits? Well, they're from 1, 2 and 3, because if this is 3, this is a 1, 2 pair. If it's a 4, it's a 1, 3 pair. So there's definitely a 1 on this domino. So hang on, let me think about this. There's definitely... Do I now know something about where this domino appears in this box? I probably do. But it can... This... Well, you can't put... No, you can't put both of these digits in here. Must there be one of the digits? Maybe there doesn't have to be. If that was 1, 3... Hang on. If this was 1, 3 adding up to 4, so this is 4, so that has to be... Yeah, oh no, I think there does have to be a correspondence between these two dominoes. I think they share a digit. Because if this is a 1, 2 pair, I know there must be a 1 or a 2 on this arrow. If this is a 1, 3 pair, because this is 4, and this must be 5, I need to put the 1 on this arrow, so there is always a shared digit between these dominoes. But, and it's not green. Oh, this is horrible. So actually maybe we need a new colour. Let us make the shared digit purple. So there's definitely a purple here, and one of those digits is purple, which means one of these digits is purple. And I want to say it must be one of these. Is that really possibly purple? If this is 1, 3... Yeah, purple is always a very tiny digit, isn't it? It's the tiny digit. Okay. So yes, so because this is a... Yeah, so purple can't be the 3, so it can't go in the circle. So there's a purple in one of those two cells, probably on the arrow. But this is all getting a bit vague now in my brain, and that's never a good thing. I like my brain to feel clear and less opaque than it currently does. Blue has to go in one of those cells by SUDOKU. So what on earth am I meant to do next? Can I work out? I mean, let's just have a think. I mean, if green is really 4, it's going to force everything. Because green being 4 forces orange to be 5, forces blue to be 9, forces this to be a 1, 3 pair, forces this to be a 1, 4 pair. No, not immediately seeing why that's broken, actually. Ah, here is a point. By SUDOKU, blue is on an arrow. Blue is not 9. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. These blues pinch into box 8. The colouring is awful, but because blue is forced onto an arrow, and not a short arrow, an arrow that's adding at least another digit to blue, there is no way blue can be 9. So that, yeah, this is it. So we've done it. We've done it. We haven't maybe done the whole puzzle, but we have done something. Because now, if blue can't be 9, green can't be 4, because 4 would require orange to be 5. So green is 3, which means this is a 1, 2 pair. So this is not, it doesn't involve a 4. It's got the green 3 on it plus a 1 or a 2 to equal 4 or 5. But perhaps we don't know what orange is yet. You know, I think we might not know what orange is, which is really strange. That we can get rid of the 1 there. Okay. So blue lives... Oh, hang on. Yeah, let's think about that. So blue, which is a massive digit, lives on an arrow in box 8. And that means that one of these circles has to be a mighty great number. Okay, here is a weirdness. which I hesitate to mention, but I've just seen it, so I'll mention it in case it's important. Although I think it's a bit far-fetched. We've got a 7, 8 here. So one of these digits is blue and is 7 or 8. Now whichever arrow that's on, it must be accompanied by a 1 or a 2 on that arrow. So there is definitely a 1 or a 2 in this little foursome. There might be both, but there's definitely one of them. And in box 7, there's definitely a 1 and a 2 in this little foursome. And therefore, whatever the low digit is on the arrows down here will find a friend in those cells. And therefore, where does that 1 or 2 go in row 7? Well, it can't go on a 2-cell arrow, so it goes in one of those cells. So there is a very low digit in one of these 2 cells. And I don't really have a good way of pencil marking that, because if I put 1, 2 like that, this will make me think this is a 1, 2 pair adding up to 3, and it might not be. So maybe we just have to try and remember that there is a low digit on this arrow. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, I just knocked the microphone. I hope that hasn't made a total horlicks of the sound. Right, what do we do now? We've really not got very much communication. There's loads going on in the first 3 columns, but there's really not much going on in the final 6 columns. These blues are the only, well, there's another blue, so blue has to be in one of those cells. Blue is 7 or 8, so it can go on the arrow. Okay, right, here's something. I hadn't spotted that this was a short arrow, but it is a short arrow. So that means that whatever repeats in those 2 cells, let's make that red for a moment only, where does that go in box 4? Well, the answer is in one of these 3 cells, but it can't be this one, because it is the sum of 2 digits, and 1 and 2 are not the sum of 2 SUDOKU digits. So that means red is transposing onto either orange or blue, which means that those cells are either orange or blue, but they are the same. So let's use the magnificent software and put A in these. These are the same digit. Another rinky-dink that Sven's introduced. There's loads of stuff that Sven's been doing, by the way. If you do support Sven by buying SUDOKU PAD, that's our software. It really is so cool. There's a I don't know if I've got it here, but there's like this killer Sudoku thing now. Killer calculator. Look at this. If I turn this on, there's no cages here, but imagine there was a cage, you can click on the cage, and then it sort of gives you the options for what goes in the cage here on the right hand side. Maybe you can't see that because it might be hidden by the title, but there's sort of a killer cage calculator that comes up. It's very clever. Anyway, let me just get rid of that for a second or two and come back here and think about the puzzle. So one of these 2 squares is orange or blue. So it's right, maybe okay, so it's either 4, 5 or 7, 8. So if this was 4, this would be a 1, 3 pair. Okay, so maybe it's something to do with where. Oh, that's a shame. Right, it would be massive if this was blue. If this was blue, where would blue go in this box? It would be on the arrow. So we'd have a 7 or an 8 on this arrow, and this would be an 8 or a 9. So why? Right, that's the question. This is sometimes a way of solving puzzles. If you see a deduction like that and it looks really cool, then try and prove the opposite. Why is this not orange? If that's orange, There's no reason that can't be orange, is there? Well, orange, I suppose, makes these 2 digits quite low. That's the only thing I can see that orange does there. But I don't think that matters, does it? This arrow adding up to even as 4 or 5, I mean, there are many ways of doing that. Oh, that's beautiful. Gosh, wow, Nevario, that's very cute indeed. Right, look at box 5 a bit more closely, and let's come back to just plain old where is blue in this box, because all of a sudden it's become fantastically restricted. So blue by Sudoku is not in that L pentomino. Now here's the question, can blue be on this arrow? And the answer is no, because if blue is on the arrow, blue is definitely not in this cell, which we know is either blue or orange. So this would be orange adding up to, which would be made up of a sum of blue, which we know is bigger than orange, and another digit. So we can't put negative numbers into Sudokus. So blue is not on this arrow, so blue is in one of those cells. And now it doesn't matter whether I know that this is blue or not, because one of these is blue. And if one of them's blue, that's enough to get me a restriction in box 8, because now blue by Sudoku is on the arrow, which means that... Right, and my pencil marks were directed at bluing, weren't they? So I can get rid of these. So now we know that this is a 7 or an 8 plus a 1 or a 2. So this is, let's just put the options in. This is 1, 2, 7, 8. One of these is blue. One of them is a very low number, adding up to at least an 8. So this is 8, 9. This is 8, 9. Now, well, it's... I was about to say it's very unlikely that the yellow now goes on the arrow, but it just could. I mean, if how would that work? If this is 8, we'd have loads of 1s all over the place. We'd have 1. This would have to be 1, 7. And then this would have to be 1, 8. Hang on, there's something going on here. I know one of these digits. Oh, wow. Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful setting, it really is. Right. Yeah, I want to come back to what we said about 1s and 2s, I think. Yes. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to give the low digit on this arrow a colour. That's what I need to do, I think, to explain this. I'm going to give it red, just for a moment. Because where does this low digit, and that's meant to be the red digit, not the blue digit, where does the red digit go in row 7? And this is what we looked at before. Because we know one of these is red, in fact, maybe if I do that, I can make this a purple-red pair, can I? Because purple was the equivalent to this digit. Oh, but hang on. Maybe purple can be red, so I've got to be careful about this. No, forget what I just said. And let's just focus on the low digit of red. Whatever red is, where does it go in box 7? And the answer is in one of these 4 cells, and I don't know which one. Maybe somebody does, but it's not me. So red is transposed into one of those 2 cells by Sudoku in row 7, because red's down here and it's here, so it can't go in those 6 cells, and it's a 1 or a 2, so it's not in that cell. Now, imagine just for a second, therefore, that this was yellow. Now, if this is yellow, the maths of this arrow are identical to the maths of this arrow, because this is yellow plus, well, this is saying yellow, which is equal to the sum of red and blue. So if this is yellow, I need to put blue in here to make the maths work, because I know red is on the arrow, and that will clash with that. So yellow is not in the circle, and therefore this is a yellow-red pair. And because we know that yellow is at least 8. Yellow can't be 9 anymore because that would make this a 10. So this is all fixed. We must make yellow 8. This must be a 1-8 pair, which means this is a 1-7 pair. That's the only way we can make it work now. So now we know blue. Blue is 7. So orange is 4. Good grief. It's not absolutely impossible that the puzzle will collapse here, because this is absolutely mighty. Oh, yeah, look. Red is purple. Red is purple because red is 1 and purple is 1. So it's 2 that goes down here. Okay, so maybe I change the redding now to being purpling, just to be consistent. This square here has got to be a 9. This arrow can't be 1-8 or 2-7, and it can't be 3-6 for a lovely reason, which is if that's 3-6, we can't put a 3 now in this row. So that doesn't work, so that's got to be 4-5. And that means that square's a 5 by Sudoku, because now where does 5 go in this row? This is so good. It's so good, Navario. So this is, oh, now that's a 6-9 pair. I don't think this 9, does it help? Well, it does, maybe it does. That's a 9 by Sudoku. Can I get this digit somehow? I don't know. I'm not sure. 2, 6, 9 to complete box 7. These squares have got to be 2, 3, 6. That can't be 2 because it's the sum of 2 digits. Can that really be 3? If that's 3, that's a 1-2 pair matching this. So this would be a 1-2 pair. That would put a 1 in that, on that domino, or in that domino and on that arrow. Oh, if this is 4-5. Yes, sorry, can we come back to this? Do I now know? I think I do know now that this, because it can't be 4-5, which means orange is not possible in this cell. It has to be blue, which means it has to be 7. So these are 7, that's not 7. These therefore get decoloured and completely bluified. That arrow's got to be either 2-5 or 3-4, because it can't be 1-6 by Sudoku. That can't be 3, so that can't be 4. So look, it looks like it's trying to get towards some sort of triple in column 5, doesn't it? 4 is almost restricted. I'm wondering if that's 6. That can't be 2-4 because that would knock both possibilities out of the 7 arrow. It couldn't be 2-5 or 3-4. So if that's 6, it has to be 1-5. And if it's 3, it has to be 1-2. So there's always a 1 on the arrow. Whoopsie. There's always a 1 on the arrow. That 1 always goes here. So that's a 1, that's a 2. Now this is not a 2, so this is not a 5. Still haven't quite got this sorted though. 1 is now... So 1 is now in one of these cells. So we now ask where 1 goes in column 7, because we can see it can't be here and it can't be there. So it's in one of these 3 and it can't be in the circle. So it's on this arrow. Okie dokie. So this digit is now either 2 or 5. Both 3. Is this really possible? 8 and 9 are a pair in this box. Oh, that's weird. That's very, very strange. Okay. So now, maybe it's as simple as saying, where does 6 go in box 5? and somehow it seems to have been ruled out of everywhere apart from those two squares. Now if 6 is in one of these two squares, it's most certainly not in this square, so that is 3, that is 2, that's 4, and that's 3. And that's therefore green. And 4 is orange, so we get some more colouring. 3 is green. 3 is on the arrow in box 2. So that square's a 6 by Sudoku, and that's got to be a 2. So now we know what these digits are. 1, 3, and 6, apparently. So we're going to get a very good handle on what this digit can be. So this cannot be a 3-6 pair, because if it was a 3-6 pair, that would be a 9. So this has to be a 3 or a 6. So doesn't this now have to be 1 and 3? It does. So that's 1, 3 adding to 4. This is a 6. Let's tidy up the pencil marks. And right, so now we are. I think we're doing quite well actually out of all of the complexity. So now we've got to put 2 and no, not 2 and 7. We've already got the 7. 2 and 4, isn't it? It's 2 and 2 and 4. Aha! That's fine. So that's 4. That's 2. That gets orangified. That gets orangified. Does 2 have a colour? No. So 2 is quite restricted. Look, 2 is in one of 2 places. In box 1, probably on the arrow, I think. Have we got anything better than that to say about the world? 4 is in one of 2 places in box 6. 2, there's a 1-2 pair in box 6 as well, just by Sudoku. 1 is the purple digit, isn't it? So let's uncolour that 2 before we get confused. So this row has not got 5. This square is 5, 6, 0. It's 5, 6, 8, or 9. That's not particularly brilliant. Okay. Where does 1 go in row 3? I've got a 1 domino there and a 1 domino there, so it can't go in any of those cells. So 1 has to be in one of these 2 cells, and there's a 1, 3 looking at this one. So this is 1. So that becomes the purple. So this, this is lovely. That can't be 2, because that would need to be 3, and 3's already appeared. So this is 2 in the corner. No song for you. 2 is in one of those cells. Okay, here's another little trick. That's not 2, because if that's 2, our pencil marks just tell us that this has to be a 2-1 pair, and therefore what's this? It's a 3, and that cell has suddenly become, you've guessed it, utterly broken. So that cell is not 2. So 2 is now in these cells, 2 is in these cells. We've got this logic seems to be happening a lot, doesn't it? Sort of these alignments of dominoes. Where does 2 go in this column? It's got to go at the bottom. That doesn't seem to be resolved, although I'm probably wrong about that. Just can't see how to do it. Okay, sorry, yeah, I'm not desperately keen to investigate this arrow. I mean, it hasn't got, it's at least a 2 or 3, so I suppose it's at least a 5. 5, 6, 7 are the options for the sum here, because it can't be 8 or 9. That seems a complete hodgepodge, doesn't it, in terms of the... I'm not really seeing anything clever there. There might be something. I'm not seeing anything terribly clever. Okay, so where should we have a look now? I know what those digits are. They have got to be 5, 8, and 9. Oh, which is totally and utterly useless. Do I know what this digit is? It is a bit, actually it is a bit restricted, isn't it? Because this cell can't be a 1, 2, 3 or 4, so it's at least a 5. So 5 adding up to 6, is that possible? maybe 6. Oh, 6 adding up to 7 is not possible, and then 7 can't go here. Can 8 go here? Oh, you rotten thing. I think 8 might be able to with a 9, but that's still very restricted. So these cells have got to be from 5, 6, 8, and 9. So, that's it. That's it. So the question is, where does 6 go in this box? And this 6 is telling us that 6 is in the domino in column 2, which is sliding down the grid and forcing this cell to be a 6 in box 7, which makes this a 2-9 pair, which forces the 6 to go here. This is so clever. So that's 6, 5, 1. This is an 8-9 pair, so that's 9, that's 8. This is not 8 anymore. This is not 9 anymore. Oh, there's a 5 here as well, so in fact that is 9. This is 5, 8. Can we do the 1, 3? Maybe not. But we must know what that digit is. Let's see if we can do that. So, oh, we've got 9 here as well. 9, 2. Aha! Now it might be worth re-investigating this arrow, because now at least I know that's a 2. So this digit's really restricted. It's got to be 3, 4, or 5. And I've got a 6 here. So that's not 6, so that's not 4. So this is 3 or 5. Yes, okay, so where does the 4 go in this row? I can't see anywhere for it but here. So that's 4, that's 5. So 5 is definitely on the arrow now. It's either in the circle or on the arrow in this domino. Don't know, there's probably a way we can resolve that, but I can't see what it is. This 6 is giving me a 9 here, which is giving me a 9, 8 here. So now I've got a weird 4-9 pair in box 6 by SUDOKU. What are those digits? Oh, 5 I can just place. So SUDOKU and 6 and 8, I can place the 8, I can place the 6, I can place the 6, I can place the 5. What I really love as well about this puzzle is that once we understood how the arrows were interacting with all these gorgeous interactions at the beginning, it's not been brutal since then. It's just flowed very, very elegantly. These are 3, 5, and 8. And all that's beholden on me now is to sort of finish it with some sort of alacrity. So come on, Simon. It must be this arrow that we've got to... Well, we know there's a 1 on this arrow, don't we? And this column is telling us it can't have that many options. So what are the options? Well, 3 is not an option. That's interesting, because 1 plus 3 would equal 4, which would clash. So the next option after 3 is 5. 1 plus 5 equals 6. That doesn't work. So does it have to be 1 plus 8 equals 9? Hang on, I missed a digit here. No, I haven't. It's 3, 5, or 8 accompanying the 1. So it is 1, 8. And then we actually know the order. 8, 1, 1, 3, 8, 5, 9, 9, 4. Wow. Okay, so this is 2, 6. Which might not be resolved, but that digit's resolved. That's a 3, and that's 3 in the corner. Very nice. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. So these 2 cells are now... Oh, we've got to put 7 into one of these. So this is 5. Oh, right, okay. That's a 5, 7 pair. And that's a 5, 7 pair in the column. So that cell's become an 8. 1, 8, 1, 2, 2, 6. So that digit's now forced to be a 4. We've not put 4 in column 9. And something, that's no longer able to be 8. So this square is 3 or 5 by column, and it's not 5 by row. So that's 3. That's 5, that's 7, that's 7, that's 5. That's 5, that's 3. Hopefully that's 6. That's 7, that's 1, that's 1, that's 3. And all I think that's left for me to do is to tidy up my very inelegant colouring. I need that one to be yellow, that one to be purple, that's all purple, that's all blue. Yeah, I'm seeing other areas where I've undercoloured, so I'll try and fix that in a second. That one's got to be green, so all of my 3s should be green, all of my 4s should be orange, all of my 7s should be blue, and all of my 8s seem to have to be yellow, and all of my 1s need to be purple. And is that all the colours I used? So I had no colours for 2s, 5s, 6s and 9s. I'm sorry about that, those digits, if you're feeling hurt and chromatically lacking. But today you will have to be plain. Let's click tick. Yay! Very cute indeed. Loved it. Loved it, Nevario. That is a really smart puzzle. Right, so what's the logic we didn't use? Is it just no 3-cell arrows, perhaps? I don't know. I'd love to know. I mean, I know Nevario does watch the channel, so hopefully he will be able to tell us what the logic was that he didn't use in the puzzle. But my feeling when solving this is that it was very unusual. I think it felt unusual because of all the 1-cell arrows and the way they interacted, and they interacted surprisingly and beautifully. So like the fact that we were able to lock one of them onto an arrow down here was really cool. And I also seemed to find loads of logic where we had dominoes, coinciding dominoes. I can't think, I think there was an example where we had 1s in those 2 dominoes, so we knew there was a 1 in that domino, and then we got a 1 in this domino, which put a 1 over here, and that seemed to happen a lot. Very nice indeed. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.